So I have mentioned that I deal with death a little differently. Um, it doesn't quite register the same way unless I have physical proof. Like even when my grandmother passed away and everybody went to the viewing, I didn't go with them and I didn't believe it until I saw her laying there. And death is very weird to me because people's bodies are really just shells. Like whether it was with my dad, very first time, very first time seeing somebody at a funeral was my dad. And my granny's body looked different in a different way, but when people's spirits leaves their body, like it is a total difference. Like you notice it's like that's not even them, it was just like a costume or something. But anyway, and even when my dad passed away, like I would hear footsteps on the stairs and things like that. I don't know, so I never really, like, sure, grief can hit me, in a wave and stuff, but it's just like I never I don't know how to explain it. um like even with my auntie Merlin, like my favorite auntie, that's the sibling of my granny. When she passed away, I lived in a different state, so it's like to this day, and her ashes are here. um I love her so much, and that's so besides the point, because her daughter really kind of wanted her mom's ashes. I don't know what's going on with my mom and her first cousin, but anyway, she lives like in a different state too. But anyway, that's kind of beside the point. What I'm saying is that my auntie Merlin almost is not even dead to me, even though I slept in her room, was living in Granny's house, and was in her room, and she wasn't in her room. It Death just never quite clicks the same way. So when it comes to my uncle, now I have a few different feelings about it. Of course, it breaks my heart and it kind of makes me feel weird. And with time, I definitely would like outwardly respond. Um, but like my uncle, I don't want to necessarily say that he was self centered, but um, I've been disillusioned because it seems like the whole time of us growing up in our grandma's house, we were just very much a second or third thought. We like we were to them, we were just extra mouths to feed. Like that's the way I felt about it. Because hold on, sorry. Oh, that shit almost hit me. Anyway, because like when my granny passed away, I mentioned this before, but I was still in school for massage therapy for California. So I would like when I would basically from Huntington Park get on, like I forgot the number, but it would take me to the Florence station, then I would go to downtown Compton station and get on the Gardena and then get off like in front of the gas station on Alondra. And that's not Avalon yet? What is that street right there? It's not Compton Boulevard yet. Oh my God, Greenleaf is more that way. I'm sorry, I can't even remember. It's in between Central, that's the street. My granny lived between on Alondra between Central and then Aprilla. So anyway, I would like be walking down the street with my backpack with my scrubs on every day. Nobody really said anything, even though they all had this plan, like they were gonna sell the house. My uncles wouldn't even speak to me, even if I would say hi to them. Certain uncles, like my uncle Larry, who would always give me juice and high C and stuff when I was little, like they didn't say nothing. And I thought at first it was because they were grieving over their sister, but it just seemed like they were kind of distancing themselves emotionally because of what they were going to do. Because, like, my granny's oldest brother, and this was some years ago, you know, so I try to remember the best I can, even though I don't hold on to negativity, but I just remember. Like, he said, he gave us a day that he wanted us to be ready by, because he was gonna sell the house. But he started moving stuff and he changed the locks before that day. It was very interesting the way he did it. And he's an army veteran, so some of that, like, some of that tact, you know, like, he was applying in the situation, even though we were his family. So, yeah, and my uncle that just passed away, he's the second, I think, oldest, second, maybe third, I'm not sure. Um, but he's older than my granny, okay? So, but my granny is like on the younger spectrum of her siblings. But so he was like the main man, like, since I was a kid and even before, from selling weed out the back door and in the garage, and playing dominoes and betting on like basketball games, football games, whatever. Like, he made a lot of money on the daily basis. But they never fixed up the house. And I'm trying not to leave any details out because I do that a lot. Like, my mind will go somewhere and then I'll be like, what was I talking about? But anyway, but I'm sorry, bro. Okay. So I'm gonna remember in a moment. It actually kind of got weird because even when my granny was alive, the last few years, when my great grandma's house was the way it was, um, I noticed that my uncle's company kind of treated his sisters and us, you know, as her grandkids and stuff. But his sisters, like, they were a little beneath him and beneath them. Like, it was very weird. It was kind of like how when you're a kid and then your mom tells you to not treat your friends better than your sister or your brothers. Like, as kids, when you like feel like you need to be accepted so bad, like, you let people like talk shit to your siblings and that's like still your friend. Like, that kind of thing. Um so I just thought that was very interesting, and it made sense, like, the way that they did everything. But like, my whole childhood being there, like, sure, it was freeing, sure, like on Christmases, it's like your first cousin gets something and your uncle gets something, because like, y'all all come from your great grandma. Like, you guys are all your great grandma's kids, so it's kind of like, even if y'all not siblings, y'all kind of are siblings. On holidays, you know, just, I miss that as a kid, like, all the nuts in the bowl, Brazilian nuts and walnuts and pecans and apples and oranges, and everybody had a Christmas present. And 4th of July used to be like that too, especially before my Uncle Didi died. 4th of July used to be off the fucking chain. My uncle was something else. Like, he would wait for every, for every, uh, he would wait for everybody to, he would get, he would, he would wait for everybody to get done popping their fireworks, and then just be like, like, that shit would go on till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and the whole family would be there, cousins, everything, like the whole family that you would see at church or at like a family reunion, like everybody. And it just slowly through the years it stopped being that way. Um, so let me think. Yeah, my uncle that passed away, like, his girlfriend was also weird because she was like an old tramp, and I don't mean that in a rude way. Like, she literally like used her societal norm as ways to get over. Like, she happened to be kind of a passer, and it's like she only would put on makeup and outfits, like, she only utilized her looks to get what she wanted. and that was his girlfriend. And even though she was like 50 years old, she told me I could make money selling my body, which is absolutely not good to give people advice that are younger than you that. And then also, that's pretty like vile and disgusting. Not only because I'm a child in her, like, in our dynamic, because she's 50, but like, no, that doesn't work, I already look stressed out enough by life. I would look wore the fuck out if I sold my body too. So let's not go there. But oh shit. Okay, so that shit would be so destructive to me. Like, some girls can do that and they'll still be okay. I would not be able to get away with that. Like, I remember as a kid on the weekends we would always go to my granny's house, like, because we lived in Linwood. So my mom would she would hop on the freeway and we'd spend the night with granny. It was like it was like an event. It would be like a party. Like, I looked to it like as a stress relief, the same way that adults did, even without vices, because my granny, well, my mom had cable too, but it took her a minute to get cable. Like, my granny always had cable, but my dad's parents never had cable. So so it ain't always yeah, but my mom's mom always um yeah, so I would be happy to go over there. I remember the adults would always barbecue, and they would always burn a barbecue because they would be smoking on that good. And every single night they fucking, like, dude, have somebody designated to stand by the motherfucking um barbecue pit if that's the case. Like, they did that shit every day. Like, you would have to go up before they assumed the shit was done to get a piece of chicken that was perfect. Like, they'll be like, oh no, it's not done yet. Like, and then the motherfucker come out looking like charcoal pieces. Like, they used to be tripping. But yeah, it's like through my whole life, my granny's house was like a staple. That was like a home away from home, but like the main home, because it's like, as a kid we lived in like LA, but as a really little kid, like before I went to kindergarten, and we lived in Hawthorne. I think we lived in Long Beach before. I was born in Long Beach, but I'm talking about like split second as a kid. Like, you'll live in different places and different apartments and stuff, but like your grandma's house is always going to be the staple. Like, that's the foundation of your life, your mom's life, your grandma's life. Like, when something has been your grandma's house for like more than 60 years, it's kind of weird for people to think, because that they're at the end of their own life, or they feel like they've lived enough, that they just want to sell the house because it's their mom's house, take all the money out, disregarding people's whole lives. It's insane. So anyway, back to my uncle, because the uncle whose idea it was is the very oldest, and he not dead. So good for him. So anyway, good for you, Glen Coco. So anyway, uncle that passed away, I always said this because it was true. He reminded me of the leaders of the Hans from Mulan. Like, the nigga that come and then the music is like, I can't do the music, but he got his eagle and the motherfucker land on his. He's kind of badass, even though he's a bad guy. But that's like, I swear, my uncle, because my uncle was a Scorpio, like, that's his demeanor. Like, that's literally how he came off. Like, so but he just seemed like he was so selfish and so centered in money. Like, because even when they said they were going to sell the house, like, they didn't make it advantageous for anyone else but them. Like, I remember they were just randomly moving stuff, like moving my granny's old cars, moving my auntie old car, and it's just like weird. Like, because they could have gave those cars to somebody, people who need to learn how to drive, whose dad was murdered, and they know that shit, but they just not thinking about it. Like, they're like 3 times the age that my dad was when he died, but they still, I so anyway, like, that shit just be blowing my mind, the way that people just have such a disregard. So it's like, yeah, his girlfriend was weird, and then it was like, I remember I got this weird feeling, because I remember I was looking for this um like this hotel at night, but my phone was fucking up, so the GPS was fucking up, and I was like really a wreck. And I swear I could have swore my uncle drove past me. He did not stop. I swear. It's so weird to think, but I just felt it in my soul. I was like, that was my uncle. Like, I didn't just think that that looked like his car. Like, I felt it. Like, it's easier for them not to deal with um, anybody else but themselves. Just like when I was doing my externship in Hollywood, and my cousin Crystal, um, like we took pictures and stuff at the family reunion, but after the house was sold and stuff, and it's like, sure, she's kind of bougie, but it's like I can be mistaken as bougie as well. Like, I'm down to earth, but we have the same type of vernacular, like, oh my god, like, oh my god, you know. But it's like, and she doesn't have no kids. Like, she's like 45 or 50. Like, she might, I think she's older than 45, to be honest. Like, her and my mom are like the same age, so she's like 50 something. Her and her sister, they neither one of them have kids. So, but her sister is like more, I'm not saying they're colorist, but it's like societal colorism affects people's outlooks in the way that they deal with each other. So it's like Crystal's the dark skinned one. Crystal I always thought was cool because she reminded me of myself, because like she's very pretty, but when she was younger, she was like deemed kind of unattractive because she's the darker sister. But she's very beautiful. Her like locks are really long, like she's so pretty. But anyway, so when I was doing externship in Hollywood, and they sold the house or whatever, I called her and she didn't answer. Now, I understand people like to have their lives separate or whatever, but it's like weird because it's like her dad got money from the house being sold. He was the uncle who always give me high C and Hawaiian punch and stuff, who literally was giving me the silent treatment when I would get home from school. So it's like both. It's like they can get money from it, and they won't make sure that you don't die or get fucking sold as sex trafficked or something. So anyway, it's just so weird that they did that to me. I'm about to long story short this shit. So like, okay, so back to the uncle who passed away. Yes, I do love him. I remember him from my whole childhood. The fact that none of us can get on his ass about the 3 dreadlocks he still had, and it seemed fucked up because he's dead. Like, it seems fucked up that our inside jokes were making fun of him because he passed away. But it's just like none of us can get on his ass or nothing. Like, that was the way that we showed love or whatever, because he's an elder. Like, and he's such a know-it-all. Like, he thinks he knows everything. But and I love my uncle, but I just remembered that about him. Like, he always, but I don't want to say he was bigoted. He was stuck in his ways. But like, of course, I love him, but as far as if I'm going to the funeral, I don't think so, because my cousin, who was pressing up on me saying that he was gonna go slow and make sure I was okay, even though I was telling him like his mom and my mom, not mom, his mom and my granny are first cousins. He was pressing really hard. I know, like, his auntie and his sisters might feel kind of weird, like, people, I don't know. Um, it's like what happened to my grandma's, like with the house, and then like certain weird shit. Like, it makes it easy for my family to like dissociate with me, which is fine. Like, that's totally fine. But like I said, it gave me a sense of disillusionment to know, like, I was just another mouth to feed to them as a kid. Like, they didn't really give a fuck about me, because fast forward, when you see me in scrubs and trying to do something with my life, it doesn't matter to you. Um, I just thought that was very weird. So yeah, and then it's like his funeral was way too close to my birthday. Um, it's oh, this is one thing I wanted to say. I respect Asian people a lot. I respect everybody, unless they show me something that it shouldn't be respectful. So it's like some Asian people, sure, I don't respect them, right? But I'm saying the people that I just was working for at the acupuncture clinic, because even though I only worked one day and it was some bullshit going on and they wouldn't be clear with me about when they wanted my schedule to be, um, they paid me in full. Like when they sent me my check, it it was $3 off from what I had thought. $3. That is correct, you know? But it's like when I was working at Massage Envy and the girl hired me, she said she was gonna pay me $18 an hour. And I always tell this story and say she paid me 15 instead. That is incorrect. I found the old check that she gave me. She paid me at $13.68 an hour for massage therapy and terminated me randomly. So in the video where I said, like a list of people that should get sued, that girl from Massage Envy should be on that list as well. Because it's like she was being condescending to me as well, being kind of shady, you know what I'm saying? Saying I wasn't a real therapist, whatever, because I wasn't doing massage therapy like off. People don't understand. Like, people will really have the one up and have a privilege where their parents have them a designated space or give them a vehicle where they can like make their whole shit happen. And I feel like she's one of those people. It's like you don't have you they feel like I from 2009 between 2019 and now that I haven't worked in enough massage therapy places, or I was supposed to be doing massages remotely, which is it's just like it's very unfair and it's very catty. And even if the Asian people told me that they didn't want to work with me if I was going to be acting that way, which I wasn't acting anyway. I was being very stern and cut off from the situation because somebody was trying to aggravate me. And that's not something that's new to me in my life journey. So I was just being quiet. If they didn't do that shit to me, I would still work there because I respect them for giving me all my money. I almost thought they weren't going to pay me at all because I only worked one day and I did not come back because of the way that they were trying to manipulate my mind. But yeah, I respect them for that. They will pay you your motherfucking money. They not gonna try to bullshit you and play with you about your life and your ethnicity and then fuck your money too. They ain't gonna do that. So yeah, but that's about it.